Hi, guys, and welcome. Happy Friday to you all. It is the September-ish edition of the Magical Mystery Makers Live. We are going to be making and creating and hanging out with the September Magical Mystery Bead Box. That's Jesse James Beads' monthly subscription box, where you get a whole box of beads and baubles and fun with a monthly theme. And this month is quite inspired and special. We're going to be doing a lot of making today with the amazing hello and welcome everyone to Deb Floros from Deb Loves Jewelry Designs. Hi, Deb.
Hi, hello, Sarah. Hello, everybody.
It is always a treat when I get to hang out with Deb Floros. Deb, how are you doing today?
I'm good. We are still trying to beat the heat here in Arizona, so I'm happy to be indoors, doing a little making, playing with this amazing box. And I get to hang out with you. I mean,
Yay. Yeah, this is a great way to kick off the weekend, guys. Like we usually do our magical mystery maker session on a midweek, but I'm like pretty jazzed to be here and taking a little Friday work break to hang out and have a little bit of creative inspiration with you, Deb. This is awesome.
yeah, I who doesn't want to do something like this on a Friday, right?
Totally, totally. So for everyone that's watching live, tuning in live now, or whether you're catching the replay, we are doing some projects, creating live designs on the fly, and also Deb has some projects that she's already pre-made for us for our magical mystery bead box. Magical Mystery Bead Box is one of the hottest things to trot down the bead aisle, if I may say so. So many cool beads and components. And this box has a really extra special theme. So with every themed magical mystery bead box, you get all sorts of beads to play with, lots of inspiration, and the best part about it is that when you walk away from receiving your magical mystery bead box after you're getting your hands dirty with it, you get so much jewelry that you can make just from that box alone. And I feel like that is probably like the hook, line, and sinker that makes Magical Mystery Bead Box so cool is all this jewelry that you get to create from a singular box. And this box is incredibly, incredibly special. Deb, you have the pleasure of creating with us today. I always love to watch Deb Floros creating on Facebook and on Instagram. Deb, you're one of my favorite designers to follow because not only are your jewelry designs like just really fun and fresh, they are projects when you're creating a tutorial, they're projects that we can make ourselves. Like they're easily digestible and they're so fun and fashion forward. How do you do it, Deb Floros?
I don't know. I mean, it's just the pieces themselves. I mean, they talk to me. I mean, not literally talk to me, but they just kind of speak to me and inspire me. And especially when you get a box like this, and everything's sort of all there together. So all of the beads, the spacers, there's some
Oh,
chain, there's always some fun little interesting elements. Like the ideas just come, and I see all of the possibilities. And you're right
ooh.
about there being so many pieces of jewelry you can make just with one box. It's shocking, actually.
That's our goal. We've been doing Magical Mystery Beatbox for quite some time now, and we've evolved over the course of this whole trajectory of MMBB, Magical Mystery Beatbox. And it's become important to us that we want to give you, we want to be able to receive a box that has so many different cool elements in it that you can create something right off the bat. And these are elements that you're not going to find anywhere else. Like you can't go to another bead shop online. You can't even go to jessejamesbeads.com and get these creative bead components. They're only for Magical Mystery Beadbox because we love you guys. We love our subscribers. Yay. So Deb, what do you think? I was thinking that we could possibly flip the camera down and we could look at the theme from this box. And if you could like just walk us through the inspiration that you had with this Magical Mystery Bead Box, I think that would be So cool.
So, okay, so full disclosure, this box has been opened and this box has been played with already. So, you guys will get a sneak peek of a couple of projects that are coming to Jesse James Beads that go with the box. So, we'll share that a little bit, but I thought I'd open up and show you what's here to start with. So here's the amazing card. Gosh, you guys always do such a beautiful job of putting the card together. I mean, it's just so perfect. I mean, Wizard of Oz being the theme, I have to say my heart jumped a little bit when I opened it up because, I'm dating myself a little bit, but it reminds me of my childhood. It was a movie that we watched during the holidays. And it's just one of those things that's extra special. So here's the list of ingredients. There's your QR code for projects and, all the info you need for the box. It's so beautifully curated, let me tell you.
And this was our box that we did. We always like to do something like a little avant-garde for Halloween. So it's not like Halloween themed, but it's like a little bit of a character piece. It's got some, it's got like some characters to it. The Wizard of Oz, all beloved items that we know and love.
Yes, everybody knows Wizard of Oz, and I think pretty much everybody loves it too. So here's our little Emerald City strand. Now it's missing here, but I wanted to show you like the beautiful graphics on the packaging. So good. And I worked with this one already, so I'll show you a piece with that shortly.
I can't wait.
And then here's the, you haven't even seen them yet, Sarah. So Cowardly Lion, there's our lion, so adorable. I also mixed in some of this with the design. So these two strands, you'll have to wait to see the full strand when the box comes to you. Then we've got the Tin Man, which has my heart, get it? Because there's lots of hearts on this strand. And there's our little Tin Man graphic, so cute. And then we've got the Scarecrow. There's the graphic for the Scarecrow. And this is so fun. Like this is all like fall tones. So even if you don't, go with something Scarecrow inspired, this is all great mixed metals, fall tones. You'll absolutely love this.
That little burlap wrapped bead was one of my favorites.
Yes,
and the little birds.
So cool. So bear with me one sec. I just got to get myself situated. Okay, so there's that strand. Then you're going to get a little bag called Ruby Slippers. And this is cup chain. And it's got some cup chain findings. And it is red and silver. So this is gorgeous, gorgeous cup chain. I love working with cup chain. I don't know, maybe today I'll put some cup chain in this piece. Mm-hmm. Then we've got Witch of the North. And this is all like sweet, soft colors. So pinks and lots of sparkle rhinestones. There's some crystals in here that are to die for. And I'm not getting the camera to focus. So guys, I'm going to hold this down enough so that it will focus.
Yeah, it looks good when you're about that level. It's doing, yeah, it's
not cooperating. I think it's because I'm in the app, Sarah. We'll fix that next time. Then here's the Witch of the West. And I'm crazy about this one. I think this might be my favorite. It's got some super cool green beads. Large hole, by the way. And these fun little, I'm not even sure what this shape is actually called. But it's kind of a lengthwise drilled black beveled bead, super cool. And then we've got a lot of rhinestone sparkle. And I did use some of this mix in my second design that I made. And then we've got Dorothy and the Tornado. This is so cute. So these mother of pearl printed beads have the print of Dorothy's dress on them. So adorable. And then there's a bunch of corresponding beads that will go really nicely with those if you want to match them together. You've got at least one project with this little mix here, Dorothy and the Tornado. Super cute. Now this, I have to admit, I'm not sure. I think this was the bag with the chain in it. So I'm going to show you the chain in a minute. It's called Oz, but this is everything left over from my projects, and I just popped them in this reusable bag. So this is a little bit of Cowardly Lion, a little bit of Emerald City. So again, you'll see what the real package looks like, but I'm going to show you in a second the chain that comes in this little cute package. And then, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is Poppy Field. And you guys always throw in a little cool bit or piece. And I'm actually going to work with these today. I have a fun project I want to show you with these. They're 4-hole, actually 2-hole, but there's 4 holes beads, and they're poppies, and they're so pretty. So these are fun. They're metal, they're enameled, super cool. So I was crazy about that. That's a fun little design component to work with. So let me show you. So that's the box. Let me show you what I made so you can kind of see what's, what's part of some of the other strands I couldn't show you. So this is what was in the Oz little resealable bag. It's this amazing chain. Oh, me too. I love this. Made my heart sing because I love fun chain. And look at that emerald color. Beautiful, beautiful chain. And if you want to, you can always take the chain apart and use them at these pieces as connectors. I love to do that, but I literally used the entire strand, and that's a lot. And I put a clasp on it. And then I made this dangle pendant.
Wow.
So this is the focal bead of your Emerald City strand. And it's a square, beveled, gorgeous piece of crystal. Super fun. And I then took the tassel from the Cowardly Lion, which is so fun. So the Cowardly Lion strand, wait till you see it. It's like all metal. And then at the end, you have a tassel. So fun. And I just like wire wrapped on one of the large bicones and a few little beads down here. And I used one of my own large lobster claw clasps. And what I thought about this was you could clip this onto anything, a cord, leather, maybe you've got, a beaded necklace that this would go with. So maybe you'll make a beaded necklace. You can just snap this on. Or this could be a purse charm. It could be a little dangle you put on your belt loop. Super, super fun. And I just put it on this gorgeous chain. So this project is coming up. This, I think, is just a short video that I did for you guys for Instagram or something like that. So you'll see this one coming up soon.
That is so beautiful, Deb. It is gorgeous. And I'm just impressed with how much is like remaining in the box after you've made this like gorgeous piece of jewelry and what have you.
And this is like beads left over from those 2 strands. So these 2 strands, I mean, I've got beads left over, lots of them. So then this is going to be a YouTube project. And I don't know how this came to be exactly, but these are your cage beads. And I took the cage beads and they were on the Cowardly Lion strand.
Okay.
And I wire wrapped on some of the little rectangular tubes from Witch of the West. So they're like a purple metallic. And gosh, I'm sorry that focus is not
This looks
happening.
pretty good. Yeah. Oh, wow, Deb, those are so cool.
And
Like,
then these guys are also in that. So they are lengthwise, like teardrop, metallic. Oh my gosh, these metallic coated beads are fantastic. So this is, so I just wire wrapped on a few of those, and then these are just some little dangles that will hang, and they look really like avant-garde, sort of Wizard of Oz behind the curtain earrings,
oh,
super fun. So elegant, unusual, and a different way to use the cage bead. So I had fun with that. I was trying to wrap on all kinds of fun things, and the when you get the strand, the cage bead will have beads in it. When you pull off the beads off the strand, you could either leave those beads in there, or they will come out easily, and you could do whatever you want. Put a different bead in there, or wire wrap on it, or do something fun with it. So
Deb, I always love how you give us such unique ideas for how to use these beads. Like the beads are so cool. Can we see really quick before we get going with some live making? Can you just show us a still of that pretty necklace that you did and just
yes,
the earrings next to it?
yes. So
Wow.
here's our necklace, and then I'm going to hold up one earring. Um,
Oh, that's
so
lovely.
So this is sort of the glam side of Wizard of Oz, because I love me some glam. So I don't know, I was really drawn to these pieces and parts in more of a glamorous way. So Wizard of Oz can be very whimsical, or it can be very glamorous, or it could be whatever you want because it's your box. So
Wow. Deb, you did such a great job with these designs. And if anyone is wanting to see the box in full form, I'm going to drop a link here. You can click over. And if you're not yet a subscriber yet, you can get this box at your subscription rate when you subscribe this weekend. So there's only 30 boxes available. I really don't think it's going to last very long.
probably not.
If you want an extra box, you can get one, and I'll drop the link for that. If you want to come and join us for a Magical Mystery Bead Box, you'll have a pop-up that comes up after you add the subscription to your cart to get this box at your subscriber rate, whether it's $39 or $45, or depending on how long you subscribe. And we'll go over that a little bit later too. Okay, so Deb is getting out her Witch of the West and Witch of the East, and I am going to have one question. I already asked everyone in the crowd. So Deb, are you a good witch or are you a bad witch?
Oh man, that's a hard question.
Depends on the day.
So I want to be a bad witch like sometimes, but I think for the most part I'm a good witch.
Oh.
But being a witch isn't necessarily like 100% a good thing, right?
I think it comes with a lot of responsibility having all that power,
Yes, yes. So I don't know. I fall somewhere in between, but I think I lean towards the good witch. And I
Okay.
do love pink. So
All right.
she wears a pink dress, right? Doesn't she?
It does, Glinda. Yeah, and on the spectrum of like good witch, bad, like good witch or a bad witch, like I think we can all be somewhere in between. Sometimes more of a good witch, more of a bad witch. Uh,
Yes. So let's
yeah.
let's let's make some good witch earrings then. So I put together a little I don't know, a little starter of the earring. So I took this fun little poppy, and it's 2 holes, so it's a little interesting to work with. So you've got lots of possibilities. So, and I grabbed some of these cool little metallic beads. This is the little guy. It's so cute. And it's got amazing metallic on it. So I thought this is kind of fun, like a really fun little earring. It's got a little bit of dangle to the bottom. So I thought I'd make those for starters and show you how I did it. Um, It's very easy. So you'll see, and I wish I could get a little closer up, but you'll see you've got 2 holes, and then there's 2 holes here.
Fantastic.
If you've got a piece of wire, so I've got 24 gauge wire, it's going to have a hard time making the turn and getting into those 2 holes that way. So what I did was I went in one hole and I went diagonal. So I kind of put the bead here and go up diagonal instead of straight up through the other hole. So I think that allows you to, oops, and it pops out very easily until you get it secured. So let me get that guy in there. And then you can take the second piece of wire and you just got to get it manipulated around the other wire, because now that wire's in my way. So I'm going to try and hold it down, and I'm going to get that wire to go through. And maybe what I'll do is actually, of course, I did this before and it worked out very easily. Let me see if, there we go. So I'm just going to, oops, there we go. So once it got trained, it was good. So I'm just going to, I had to train it. So I'm just going to pull the wire, and I want it to have a little bit of a loop at the bottom. So you can see I've got a little bit of like a half moon loop there. And what I want to do is I'm just going to kind of press those down for a moment while I grab my beads. So I'm going to put my little sample over here. What I want to do is take 2 of those pretties, and I want to put 1 on each wire. And that little pretty wanted to come along. So then I'm going to bend these back up. And these are going to move around. So if you don't like that, you don't have to, you could add a different bead or you could do something different. But they kind of have some movement here. You really don't want them to be forced to go next to each other. They just won't stay that way very well, but they're going to look beautiful. And because they move, they're going to send that shine everywhere for you. So that shine's going to be following you wherever you go. So then what I want to do is I want to crisscross my wires up top. And I want to make sure I'm not choking those together too much. I want them to have the freedom to move around. And so to get a little wrap in there, I'm going to take some thin chain nose pliers. I'm going to hold this together. This is a little bit of an exercise in patience. So I'm going to hold those together. I'm going to get my chain nose in there and hold my wires crisscrossed. And then I'm going to pull this wire down, pull this wire up. And then I want to get quite a few wraps on here. I want this to be part of my design element. I want this to be a nice, chunky, decorative wrap up here. So I want it to be not perfect, but a little bit messy, somewhere between messy and perfect. So that's probably the best you'll be able to see it there, but it's a little bit of a chunky wrap. And I've got my wire in the back, and I'm going to grab my cutters and I'm just going to snip off the excess there. And now I've got my 2 beads here that have some movement, and I'm going to put that down for just a minute. And actually this one, the loop, or the little loop at the bottom is shaped very nicely. It's not wonky. This one, when I made it, was a little bit wonky. This one actually is a little closer up to the flower. That's probably why it's a little wonkier. But you could always use your round nose pliers to kind of get in here if you need to, and kind of shape that a little bit if you need to. So if you get to a point and this is kind of wonky, you can fix that to some extent. So one other thing I did to finish this guy off is I grabbed a ball end head pin, a gold one. You could do other metal tones if you like. So it's just a short one, little short head pin. And I grab one more of these beautiful little beads, and I'm just going to do a wire wrap loop, and I'm going to wire wrap it right onto my loop down there. So I'm just going to do my loop, get that ready to go, open up that little loop and put it into my little loop at the bottom of my flower, and hold on to that with my chain nose and just do a few wraps around that pretty little bead. That looks pretty, just like that. And then snip off our excess. And then we are ready to create our top loop so that we can attach an ear wire. And we're going to do that on both the beads. And if you need to, you can adjust the way that your little loop is oriented and the way that your bead is oriented. But this should just hang as a fun little dangle there.
I love that so much. Yeah, such a unique, innovative way to use this bead and the component. The little swoopy doop with wires down below. It's just spectacular. I'm loving this.
I love the, you know, I guess juxtaposition of the enamel and then this wild metallic. Like, it's just really, but it kind of makes me think of like, that's what you would see in Oz. Like, you would see something very interesting and something you wouldn't see in the real world. So, really fun little piece. And I really wanted to challenge myself to use these. You could certainly string beads and create a little, you know, component with this and attach your beads on either side. There's a trio of them. So I've got one more in my container. You could put a trio of them as your bracelet focal. But there's just so many things that you can do with it. And I wanted to just do something different if I could with these little guys. So I've got that wrapped, and now all I need are ear wires, and I've got a fun little pair of earrings. Let me open up my ear wires. I have so many little bags of things on my work table today. I hope I have all the right bags of things.
Sounds like a fun Friday to have lots of bags of bits and bobs on your workstation.
Yes, ma'am. I wouldn't have it any other way, except you wouldn't want to see my floor right now. It's bad. There's a lot of stuff on the floor. But
sounds like a Sunday problem.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know when that'll get fixed, but it'll get fixed at some point. Or I'll just trip on it and, you know, find myself on the floor with all of it. So I'm just opening up my little ear wires. I'm just using some Beadalon ball end French hook ear wires. These are some of my favorites. Just easy breezy ear wires. And now we've got some really fun, cute, dreamy, flowery, sparkly earrings. So fun.
Those are awesome.
So these, Sarah, thank you for always including something interesting and unique in the box, because that's what, you know, makes some of the magic, I think. Well, along with everything else, of course.
You know, we like to give you some some components that are going to kind of stretch your imagination on how to make them work. And those poppies are definitely one of them. Thank you so much for that really fun and easy little tutorial on how to use those beads.
Yeah, I think, you know, some folks might kind of give up when they maybe first look at them or first try to string them on. They might say, oh, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know if I want to I want to deal with the two hole thing. And
Mm.
I love working with two hole beads. There's something about two hole beads that I really enjoy. So I don't know. I found them fun to sort of stretch my brain on a
And when
little
you say
bit.
2 hole, you actually mean 4 hole, correct? Because
Yeah.
they're double.
Yeah. You're
Yes.
right. I don't know whether to call them two hole or four hole because there's like two options for you to go through straight. But I mean, you could do some kind of,
Oh, yes.
I could see somebody actually putting seed beads around that, like maybe
Mm.
going through one hole, coming around with seed beads, going through. I don't know. I mean, that might be interesting too. So I'd love to see what people come up with that bead.
That's a great challenge. So to everyone that's a Magical Mystery Bead Box subscriber, or if you're becoming one and you're going to be receiving one of these boxes in the mail, in addition to, um, you're gonna have to show us in the Jesse Gibbs Secret Stash group or the Magical Mystery Bead group what your interpretation is of the poppy field beads. Inquiring minds. Me and Deb
Yes,
want.
we want to know. So I lined up a bunch of beads from the Witch of the North. Now, even though I said I was a good witch, I kind of lean towards the beads from the bad witch. Like, so this is kind of like a bracelet I'm thinking about. And when I looked at the Tin Man strand, you have some of my favorite things here, which are some spacer beads, some daisy spacer beads. So I think combining this with this and getting some of that spacer action is what I'm going to do for a bracelet. So I'm going to cut this guy from the package. There's our little Tin Man. So cute. I love the graphics. I mean, that's another thing I always look forward to with this box is
Aw.
how you tie it all together with the card, and each one of these little packages are all custom to the box. I mean, it's just great. Just so much fun.
We have a lot of fun over here at Jesse James. We always do. Magical Mystery Bead Box is definitely a testament to that, with the cool beads that go in it, all the way down to the art card and the packaging. So I'm glad that you share our love and our spirit for that creative energy too.
It's so good. So good. So I'm taking all of these little spacer parts, and I'm going to put those up here so I can see them. I really just kind of thought about the bones of this bracelet. So I'm just kind of putting it together now, how I'm thinking it might go. Some of these beads are large holes, so we'll have to figure how we'll get through all of that as a challenge. But I'm just going to grab some 49 strand bead-along beading wire, one of my favorites to work with, and I'm going to work from the spool. And I think I'm just going to start with the rhinestone rounds. So these beauties are always one of my favorites. And I think, I think I might add in some of these gold rhinestone spacers here, or little rondelles with the rhinestones, just to add just a tiny pop of gold in here. So all of that rhinestone goodness. And then I'm going to put one of the cubes from the Tin Man. And then I think I'm going to pop in one of the tiny little silver spacers. This has a lot of texture around the edge. So we've got a nice little stack of goodies there. Another one of these rhinestone rounds. And then maybe one of these guys. This is a really cool spacer. And this matte black bead. Is this a stone, Sarah? I'm not sure. I know it's at least glass, but I don't know. It could be a stone.
Does it feel cold to your skin?
Yes, I think it is a stone.
A stone.
It's a pretty one. So it's a matte stone. So now we've got all this texture and different finishes. And this bead is so delicious. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Ah, dying over that one. Okay. Now a sheriff star. And then I've got another one of the matte beads. So this is shaping up to be fun. And then I think I want to add another little small one in anticipation of this big honkin' bead here. So that's a whole lot of bead and it is gorgeous. So that looks cool, adding a little bit of dimension before that one. And then I always like to make sure I save enough for the other side. So I'm going to use another one of those and put the other one off to the side. And then I'm going to take a pause here because what I want to do is I want to add these. You guys probably have seen me do this before. This might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I like to add like my dangles in the center of my bracelet. So I've got two of these. I'm going to add them as dangles in the center. And I just want them to be interesting little, movement type pieces for my design. So I'm going to get this guy ready and wrap it, just do a wire wrap loop to get this guy ready to put on. And then I'll do the second one so we don't have to stop for that one. So pretty bead. These are just such lovely beads. They just have nice shape and they're interesting. Oops, sorry about that. They're just interesting shapes and interesting texture. This bracelet has all the texture, all of it. So we're going to take advantage of all of it.
So I love, Deb, how you're working with the beads. You're letting the beads speak to you. And you said in the beginning when you were starting to do this bracelet that when you're designing, you design the bones first. And then you kind of work all the extra details and nuances from there. So when you're designing, like when you say that you're designing the bones, what is the first thing that you as a designer like to figure out before you start diving in and putting the beads and letting the beads speak to their spaces?
I think what I'm trying to accomplish is do I have enough beads that will create the length of the piece that I want? So whether it's a strand of all the same bead, so maybe I've got a strand of all these beads, and is it enough to, be the main bead? Or do I have a strand like a Jesse James bead strand where I've got a variety of beads? Do I have enough of those to give me what I want for, the length of the piece, whether it's a bracelet or a necklace? And so I just kind of make sure I've got enough substance, I guess, to
Mhm.
create that base of the piece. And then it's all about creating interest for it. So getting something, an interesting focal or an interesting focal section, or adding some metal, adding some different textures and different beads. Maybe in this case, I've got a lot of silver and black. I don't have a lot of color. So do I want to throw in color? So that's, just kind of how I think is, maybe I get a base of beads that are going to give me the length and the basic look of the bracelet, and then go from there. So I popped in a couple of the gold rhinestones. I'm loving that. So I've got these fun shapes sticking out. I've got a cube in the center, and then I've got a couple of those gold ones. Let me see if I can get us up at least a little bit closer so
Oh,
you can
so
see.
pretty.
So it's just like super sparkly and fun. This is like a great bracelet for the holidays that are coming up, which I can't believe.
I know, it's wild.
But good time to start thinking about bracelets that you might need to make for yourself or for someone else. Maybe you're making for a craft fair or something like that. So, ooh, gosh, I this is even coming out better than I thought it would. I didn't put the whole thing together before. It was just kind of, I started to think about the base of it, and I'm crazy about this. This is even better than I thought it would be.
And
So,
then after the show, we'll ask Deb so kindly to take a couple photos and post them to the Jeffy James Secret Stash group. So if you haven't been in Secret Stash in a while, make sure you take a pop over later today to see to see some photographs of these pretty bracelets and earrings that Deb has made.
yeah, I think you'll then be able to really see the close up and see how this came out. But oh my gosh, well, there is so much sparkle in this box. I mean, it is crazy good sparkle. So what I'm going to do this looks a little short to me. So here's what I'm going to do. So this is bad. Like, I don't ever like measure everything because I'm kind of doing this on the fly. So I'm just going to take my bead stoppers and I'm going to pop them onto both ends, and then that will allow me to try it on. So, ooh, I like that. That's so fun. So I think I need probably a small bead on either end. And I've got 2 more of these. So I think I'm just going to pop on those. That might make it a touch too long for me, but I may have a friend who would enjoy this piece. So just added on another one because I also have 2 of these little spacer guys left. And then I'm going to cut this side because I've been working from the package. So I'm going to cut that guy off, and I've got a stopper there to help me out and make sure I'm not going to lose all my beads. And then I'm going to get this little rhinestone guy, and I think we've got our strung piece. So, ooh, mama, like that.
It looks really good.
I do love that this is just kind of a fun, it's not always going to stay that way, but you can play with it while you're wearing it. I mean, I see jewelry as a fidget opportunity. Like that's what it should be about. Just so you can play with it while you wear it. And if I've got time, Sarah, I'm just going to finish it up real quick.
All right, let's do it.
So I think you guys know I am a French wire user, and I know not everybody likes that. So you could certainly use wire guardians. You could use just, just the wire, because you've got a design here that, the wire matches quite nicely. But I've got French wire. It's little coiled wire that is often used for knotting pearls, finishing the silk on knotted pearls. I like this as just a little bit of an extra finishing element to put over my wire. You don't have to join me with that preference, but it's just kind of how I like to do it. And then I've got a couple of size 2 crimps here that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to use a lobster to finish this off. So I've got to find one in my box here. I did not put that on this messy table. I could not find a spot for it. So let me make sure that guy works. Always test your lobsters first. That guy I'm not crazy about. Let me find another one. Find a different one. And test that one out. Ooh, that one's good. That one's got a nice spring to it. So let's do this. So what I do is I take my little piece of French wire, and you're not going to be able to see this because I won't be able to get close enough, but I just string that little coil of wire onto my beading wire. And this one has a little bit of a janky end. So I'm going to cut that off. And let's see if it will go through now. There it goes. Oh, you know what? I need to put the crimp on first. Ha ha ha. Sorry about that. So crimp first, then your piece of French wire. And I'm using this piece of French wire as my loop. So you could also, if you decided to put seed beads in this design, so if you've got some of the Toho beads from Jesse James Beads, you could also fill in with some color, and then you could make a seed bead loop at your end. You've probably seen me do that if you guys have seen other projects from me. I like to do that too, because it just kind of gives you the continuity of your piece. So there's my little loop. And I'm going to grab my crimping pliers, get in here and crimp. You don't want to crimp on your French wire, that will crush it. So make sure when you're grabbing your crimp, you're not also grabbing the French wire. And then I'm going to cut off my excess, and then I'm going to let gravity do its thing. And now I've got my other side, and I already see this French wire's got a little bit of a weird thing going on there. So we're going to get that off of there. And I'm going to put on my crimp tube, and I'm going to put on my piece of French wire and slide that on. And then always test to see if your lobster is going to go over the French wire. I think this one does. Yes, it does. I should have tested first, but I didn't. But I kind of know these little lobsters. So then I'm going to pull my wire down, which tightens up my bracelet, which is not in a straight line. I want this to be curved to give this bracelet the movement it needs. And I've got my little lobster attached there. I'm going to come in with my crimping pliers, careful not to crimp the French wire, giving it a nice tight crimp, coming over. I'm bending my wire back so I can get a nice flush cut. And now we have a beautiful Wizard of Oz, gorgeous, blingy, glamorous bracelet.
Beautiful. Wow. Oh,
I love how this came out. I love this.
oh my gosh. Show of hands. Guys, what do you think about this bracelet that Deb just made with the September Magical Mystery Bead Box?
Woo.
Holy smokes. Okay, Deb, so show us. We just made this really beautiful bracelet. You're going to have to name her. We can wait for that one. But show us also the earrings that you just made. Wow, wow, wow.
So our little
Oh,
sparkly, poppy, fun beads or earrings, and our sparkly, avant-garde, fun, fabulous. I gotta think of a name. Normally I'm better on the fly with names. I'm struggling here. But I'll come up with a name. When I post, I'll give it a name. And I think these are going to be like sparkle poppy earrings.
so pretty.
Poppies.
Do you know what I think I love so much about this? I'm going to bring myself back into the camera here. I love that Deb was able to create two really unique and completely different pieces of jewelry from this box. Like, they're both so pretty. They're both like different ends of the spectrum. Good witch, bad witch, medium witch. I don't know.
Middle of the road witch.
Middle of the road witch. Yeah. They're such beautiful, beautiful, and very uniquely different pieces of jewelry that you made, Deb.
Yeah, and there's so many more beads. I mean, there's so much more to this box, and I've made 4 projects. So this is just the beginning, scratching the surface
Yeah.
of what you can make with this box.
Thanks for all the inspiration, Deb. Oh my gosh.
You're welcome. I thank you for the inspiration from putting this box together.
Oh,
It's just
thank you.
a
Gosh.
great one.
We have so much fun with it. We like here us at Jesse James Beads. We love putting these boxes together. Like we want to come up with a theme that's going to be like cool and like product names that are going to like make you think like the Wizard of Oz and the Tin Man strand, for example. But the strands, like just because it's called the Tin Man strand doesn't mean that you're going to make like a Tin Man piece of jewelry. You've got like really cool antique silver hearts and like sparkly red glass and all kinds of cool things that speak to the notion of the Tin Man, but really it's just beautiful design elements, and that is something that we are pouring our love and our attention on with every single box.
Yeah, I mean, I could not love the Magical Mystery Bead Box more. I mean, it's that thing that every month I just can't wait. Like if I see sometimes I'm doing something and I see the FedEx guy come and walk through my gate, walk all the way to drop it by my front door, and I'm like, and as soon as I can possibly get up, I run out the door and grab the box and tear it open, and I'm always thrilled with what's in it.
It's a treat, right? Like you like it.
Yes. Yeah, it's joyful.
I'm so glad to hear that, guys. And this is a great month to subscribe. Our 3-month plan, I think, is like the most popular, and I would highly, if you're thinking about it, haven't done it yet, the 3-month is a good one. We've got our artist edition box is coming up in the next 3 months, where we take an artist that we're inspired by and we come up with bead mixes and strands that are jump off points from a particular artist's masterpieces. So that's just a little teaser. And that I am always tight-lipped about the about the boxes that are coming up. But there is one of our highly coveted artist boxes in the next 3 months. And I just checked the stock that we have left on this particular box, the Oz box. We started the show with 36 and there's only 28 now. So if you're thinking about getting one, run,
hurry,
don't walk.
hurry.
Yeah, and if you become a subscriber, you are eligible to get this box at your subscriber rate. So signing up for the 12-month plan gets this box for $39, which is a steal and a half. And you can make all these projects that Deb just made for us here today. There's 3 projects from Jennifer Miller that's with a QR code with your box. Deb has got more coming up on Instagram and on YouTube. So there's so much creativity and inspiration coming from you, Deb, and our amazing creators, in addition to all the fun that's in the box. So yeah, it's Magic Mystery Bead Box is a cool place to be right now.
It sure is.
And I've had the songs from The Wizard of Oz stuck in my head since the start of today. Since I said, "Hey Deb, can we hop on a quick call earlier today?" I've had Lollipop Guild and
I haven't seen the movie for a while, and now I really want to go watch it because I haven't seen it probably for maybe 5 or 6 years now. And we used to watch it. It was either Christmas Eve or Thanksgiving Eve. It was one of those. They always, I'm dating myself again, but they would always show it on one of the networks because that's all there was. And it was kind of like a holiday thing that when families were all together, families could watch it. And so I watched it every year then, but as an older adult, I have not watched it for a while. So I'm going to need to watch it this year, and I'll be wearing my jewelry while I watch.
I love that. And it just to speak to the notion of tradition season, The Wizard of Oz is a tradition for Deb and her family. And there's so many other traditions that we have coming up, whether it's, getting dressed up for Halloween or making a piece of jewelry that makes you feel a certain way for Halloween. And then we've got the holidays right after that and gift giving season and JJB Winter Workshop and all these things that we have the next few months. I cannot freaking believe it's we're on the cusp of holiday season already. But it's one of my favorite times of year, and I'm sure it is for so many of our JJB family out there too.
For sure.
Well, Deb, this has been quite a treat. It always is.
It's been quite a treat for me too. Thank you for having me.
Well, have a wonderful day, Miss Deb Foros.
You too.
All of our JJB fans and fam and community out there, have a wonderful, wonderful start to your weekend. Check your text messages today at 5 p.m. Eastern, or just come on over to jessiejamesbeads.com at 5 p.m. We are doing our afternoon live sale, and I will see you all there in just a few hours. Deb, have a great weekend. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.